Hello there guys and girls, I'm Oscar Cooper. Today I am going to be Capture Coop and welcome to Cyberpunk 2077. It was worth the wait actually, I'm very pleased with it. We're looking at PlayStation 4 Pro footage. I've not seen enough of it on the internet. This game is released on PC early doors, right? We only have just started to see console footage, so feast your eyes. This video doesn't include any mid to late gameplay. All this footage is actually before Keanu Reeves turns up, so be safe in the knowledge that you're not going to see any story spoilers, etc. What you are going to see is some okay frame rates. Outside at this beginning area, it's actually very smooth. I'm impressed with the lighting, the details on the road, that distance is phenomenal, and of course some of the destruction mechanics are a little bit primitive, but we didn't buy this game for destruction mechanic. Big set pieces as well coming past me. Okay, please be aware that the HDR option defaulted to being off when I fired the game up. Most games should talk to the system and whack it on automatically. This didn't, so hop into the options and make sure it's clicked on. And of course, there is a film grain that also goes on automatically. Now, I'm kind of in two minds about it. I do and don't like it. Sometimes on detail with objects that are close to you, the granular fuzziness can come in, but it adds atmosphere. I was toggling it on and off quite a lot. I've settled with it on, but going forward, I think you should all look at whether you prefer having it on and off. At least there's an option for it, which is definitely a good sign.
Target could have possibly flatlined already. Not sure you're in time.
We're in time, Bug. We. Sure you're on phones, but that don't make you any less part of this squad.
As far as performance toggling goes, i.e. a high frame rate or high resolution option within the interface itself, there's none of that for the PlayStation Pro. It does, however, have some enhancement logo on the back of the box, meaning that I think this is getting some boosts in areas. Let's talk about textures and character modeling. I'm impressed with how Jackie looks as an NPC. He's very much a detailed character model, doesn't slip in and out of any texture smoothness. And of course the interiors on the intros of the games are extremely well done. A lot of atmosphere is coming in here, and there's an incredible soundtrack. Everyone has spoken about how good the soundtrack is in this game. This is one of my favourite scripted early moments. It goes full Lucas on here, absolutely loved it.
Landing, stand clear. Initiating security protocol. Follow all instructions. Place the patient on the ground. Five steps back. Now.
TT-133 to control. Patient NC570442 secured. Stimulants being administered. 70 milligrams dopamine, 110 norepinephrine, 800 fibrinogen.
Now, regardless of what system you're on, you're going to notice a lot of repeat templates with the non-player characters or just pedestrians within or on the streets. This is a bit of a niggle for me at this early in the game as well, seeing as we're not actually having loads of different characters or NPCs on screen. So that one it can be tweaked. It happened a few times, I'll point it out to you again in a second, but what I'm not seeing is any of this T-posing or any of this glitch in, glitch out, flickering shadows, none of it. I think the day one patch has come through and fixed a lot of the smaller issues people were having with Night City itself and the characters within.
How about a round or two? What do you say?
Getting a smooth pan on things is also quite difficult. When you walk, you have this sort of up and downness that creates an uneven dolly of the camera. You know how much of a stickler I am for smooth camera motion, and I just can't get it here unless I really try. I think that's down to a few things, and I think what we're seeing are the frame rates dip massively when there's a lot of assets, furniture or movement on screen. As far as distance detail goes, it's okay. Sometimes it can look incredible and sometimes it can really take a hit on pop-in and low distance textures. When you're looking at games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or even GTA 5, 5 on the PlayStation Pro. This is coming up in between the two. For sheer busyness, it certainly beats those two games aforementioned hands down. And I think that's what CD Projekt Red are going for here, is a city that is just rich with different characters and different outlets and different levels of interaction within the skyscrapers themselves. But this damn immersion keeps getting stolen from me by this cut-paste NCP skin that keeps going around. And also the fact that there's kids walking around the street. Now kids have been in Skyrim, kids are in loads of games, but they're not directly in the firing line. They're not on the street. You are driving a car around and shooting a gun. I assumed that Cyberpunk as a city would have age restrictive areas. I thought it'd be like a massive nightclub, and that, you know, the younger generations, there will be huge swathes of the city they just couldn't go in. That's kind of not the case. And with the advertising billboards and just everything, it doesn't sit too comfortably with me. I'd be really interested on your feedback with that. Stick it in the comments. Let's have a look at Jackie. Jackie's model himself in using outlets or talking to NCPs at their terminals and stuff is really good. And when you get into the detail and start looking at some of the high def tattoos on his arms, certain facial gestures, it is incredible. The guns clip in and out of people as well. When you're acting out a scene, a gun will often disappear into somebody. That's kind of normal. You see that sort of janky stuff happen in Engine on a lot of cutscenes within missions. This is a nice pan around, and back to what we were talking about with the busyness. What's going on up there? I didn't even notice this till the replay. There's some little robots looking at this massive van, and there's a policeman doing a report. The detail is incredible. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, let's get to cars and vehicles. By the way, you can call your car GTA style from anywhere, and it brakes Knight Rider style awkwardly in front of you. It's great. Sometimes it appears to be floating a couple of inches above the ground. I haven't had that too much. One of the things that has wound me up beyond belief is that you have a switch camera button down there on the right analog pad. I am pumping it all the time. It doesn't work in the city. I don't know if that's my own glitch targeted just for me, or whether the whole of Night City doesn't have external camera views on any of the cars. I don't know. But I want to cover the modeling on the vehicles, and I want to cover the detail put in just to everything around you when you get out of your car and start looking at stuff. I went into just trance-like mode when I was realizing how much you've got to look at just within the local area that you start the game on, and how much detail they put into these environments with like litter and smoke and steam everywhere.
Spill what you know. Don't make me wait.
Even the petrol cap's got a really cool digital reading on it. I couldn't help but going to perv at Jackie's motorbike once he got off it. I was absolutely devastated that I couldn't get on it. But look at that leather stitching stuff around the tank.
You fucking deaf!
Let's talk combat. Do you remember when Fallout 3 first came out and it had this non-VATS combat in it? Everyone was using VATS on Fallout 3. I barely shot anyone not in VATS. There's a little bit of that here. There's a little bit of stickiness with the out of either freeze frame or a special combat ability. I play loads of Apex Legends. I'm crazy about first-person competitive shooters. There's no way it could equal the smoothness of that. It does damn well try pretty hard though, and it does a very good job with music and atmosphere and noise. Jackie doesn't get in your way too much. It does kind of flow. I think I'm pretty happy with the combat. I do see a lowering in frame rates when things start exploding and getting busy with the combat, and the only combat I've experienced so far has been interior, so there's been no major fights out in Night City, and I imagine frame rates would suffer massively when stuff gets busy. And the moment, a lot of the combat encounters for me are not very ad hoc. They're very set piece and script orientated, so I haven't actually had a big blowout in the city and the street. I'll be interested to see how that pans out. I'm also interested to see how Jackie acts trying to get round him. Is he a hindrance? He kind of can be a bit of a blockade, but he's cool, he's funny, he says some awesome stuff. There's some great footage of him here sliding over a counter and supporting me. I'm really happy with this game, guys. This isn't a review. You can't review a damn game like this after it's been out for 3.5 days. I just wanted to show you all what it looks like, and it looks great for a PlayStation 4 Pro. You dead!